In May 2000, the late great actor Charlton Heston gave a speech to the National Rifle Association, the NRA in America. And it's famous because not so much of what he said, but because of the way he ended it. Right at the end of his speech, he held up a musket in the air and said to the president, President Clinton at that time, "From my cold, dead hands." And he basically was saying, you'll have to prize this gun away from my cold, dead hands. It got a standing ovation from the audience, and it became a pretty iconic moment for all supporters of the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms in the United States. Now, I ain't one of those who loves the whole you gotta be allowed to have a machine gun thing, but as a speech purist, it was a fantastic example of how using props can be very effective in getting your message across. And it's been used by a lot of different speakers at different occasions. Jill Bolte Taylor was a lady who suffered a stroke and as a result went on to do some research on the brain and how it worked. And she gave a great TED talk where she actually brought in a live, I say a live brain, it can't be live because it was dead, but a real brain with spinal cord and fluids, and the audience was really wowed by it. Caroline Goyder, who does a lot of public speaking stuff, actually gave a really great TED talk where she had some sort of it's not really a robot, but it looked like a cupboard dressed up as a robot. And she used that to show how when you're trying to speak and project your voice, you have to use your diaphragm, or different parts essentially, but your diaphragm. And she talked about the different parts of the body and how that impacts the way you sound. A really famous example was done by Bill Gates, who in his early days was not really that great a speaker, but has certainly improved as he's kind of matured in his life. And he does a lot of charity work, of course, and he was talking to the audience about malaria, and he actually brought in a glass vase some mosquitoes. Now, they weren't actually infected with malaria, but it was a very interesting way to demonstrate to his audience the impact that being kind of around and being surrounded by potentially death-inducing insects, mosquitoes, would feel if that was your situation. It was very effective use of props. And so when thinking about giving a speech, think about, is there a prop? Is there something I can use or hold that could really symbolize what I'm talking about and will give people a visual representation of my message? The four things that I want you to think about when considering what prop to use or whether you should use one are: is it symbolic? So does it symbolize what I'm trying to say? Is it relevant? Is it relevant to the message that I'm giving? Is it visual? So is it something that people will see and really recognize or respond to? And finally, is it surprising? Is it something that will really make people remember it? Is it symbolic? Is it relevant? Is it visual? And is it surprising? If you can get a prop or use a prop that helps with those four areas, it will supercharge your speech and make it stick in people's memories. If you like that, I am sure you will love my free workshop on speeches. It's actually called Why Most Speeches Suck and How to Make Sure That Yours Won't. Go and check it out at nailmyspeech.com. See you on the next video.